All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a cast of the Winter Cup round of 24. I am Slappy Davis, and with me is.
Hello, everyone. I am Mega Parsec. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been really cool just catching up and getting all of this knowledge from Megaparsec, who has already faced one of the first two players in the group stages and had exactly what would happen to me happen to them.
Yeah, Yeesh is definitely a player to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier whenever I have played Yeesh, Yeesh is one of like maybe like one or two players that absolutely soul reads me, destroys me. Like not even like I would say it's really informative, but not at all. Like I have a rough time after playing Yeesh because they have just beaten me so badly. Yeesh is a person that's just like fully pushed their advantage. I have never really gotten to play Koopa, but I've definitely seen them come up in competitive Spy Party just because it seems like they play a lot.
Yeah, Koopa is definitely also, a player that has been playing a lot of things recently and doing reasonably well in them.
And then so we'll also have Caudy versus Verdris later on, but I think we can probably just get started on Yeesh versus Koopa, unless we want to grab anything else about their backgrounds. So Yeesh came from a really tough group early on, where it was Yeesh and Pafke and who was that? Minioric, I believe.
Miniorek, yes. And then also me and Sana later.
That's right, and that is just a that's a I don't believe that Yeesh started out being fully just re-engaged in the game. So I wonder if that was really good training or really discouraging training. And then Koopa, I always forget the name of the lovely flavored groups, came from a group that was actually all pretty solid, rather than like just like a like really really competitive players, like a group that really got messy. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a group where it was plausible that any of these people could have made it out in just about any order. A lot of people that were, solid players.
Yeah, because it was so that group was Lev and Bobby, now Guggy, Chrisov, and Nika. Um, and the I'm looking at the matches in that, and Koopa was always keeping it fairly close, even in the games they lost, and in the games that they won. So definitely a solid player that I'm really curious whether or not they're able to overcome some of Yisha's idiosyncratic plays, especially because from what I've seen, what I remember from Koopa, their spy always really stood out to me as just being like this really creative, pinpointy, doing something like really just like one big move and then being willing to do like a solid finish on it. But
Yeah,
I'm just trying to predict.
I'm very curious to see how this match goes.
All right, well, let's just jump into it. So we're going to be starting on ballroom. Oh, do we have the context for the draft available? Because I actually always forget exactly how the round of 24, is it just a set pool or do they get to decide at all?
No, it has. There are venue sets available, and the players each pick a set and then ban one venue from any of the sets. So not like Summer Cup where there's a set, arrangement of venues that are played, but there is some choice and agency in what venues are played.
Yes, and now that I'm looking at the stream, I'm seeing a very lovely version of that. So Yeesh selected Swap Block, so between Library, Gallery, Tayan, and Aquarium, and banned out Tayan. Not so surprised to see Yeesh do that. I think that Yeesh feels best when they feel they can just like have an opportunity to outplay their opponent, and Tayan is one where there's a little bit more chaos. Aquarium is like organized chaos, and then the other two maps are pretty normalized maps. So I don't think that they're going to feel too bad about that one.
Yeah, slightly interesting thing about this draft is we have both people banning a venue from their own pool, which you are certainly allowed to do. You can pick a pool with the intention of banning one thing out of it. It's just entertaining that we see happening for both players here.
Totally, and actually, Koopa approached it pretty similarly, where picked comfy classics and banned out the most uh, swingy of the classic maps. Right, where this set that's going to come together is probably not going to have too much just absolute luck. It's going to have the spies really driving most of the action. I would not expect to see many just chaos wrong shots. So I really think that it's going to be on the spies to break the snipers. So I would not be surprised if we see some heavy sniper party if there's not huge plays from the spy.
Yeah, we have with the bans, we have no venues where the spy must complete fewer than 4 missions, and we have both of the 5 of 8 venues available.
Awesome. All right. Well, then let's begin. I guess it goes. I don't know how the order is determined from this though. Is the comfy classics from left to right? We're just going in that order from comfy classics go swap block.
No. So there's a complicated procedure, but it basically amounts to alternating between the venue sets.
Gotcha. All right, great. Well, all that I know is that we're starting in Ballroom, and eventually the ride will stop and we'll be in a different map. But Ballroom is for sure the first map we're going to start on.
Yep.
All right. Well, are we all loaded in, ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, let's get started with Yeesh versus Koopa with Yeesh as spy, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep. So we're staying on AI control for a little bit, and looks like we take control to land at statues here. Side
Yes.
statues, interesting.
Yeah, and Yeesh is not actually too shy about grabbing a benign highlight early. I think that Yeesh really values not being a strong highlight, but just getting a side statue highlight, not too bad, and entering an innocent conversation with Ambassador.
Yep, not too much progress at the moment. Doesn't look like we're interested in chasing down Flirt at the moment since the ST's at bookcases.
Yeah, the interesting thing about grabbing partial inspect progress and then conspicuously not making flirt progress, one, because our flirt has been at bookcases, but it leads it to make it look like we're not just trying to pace out a rush or anything like that. Because sometimes an early statue visitor, you're really concerned about them turning it into a rush. We get a green flirt, we still have the potential for a 2 flirt. And so we're still setting up the pieces in this game, and we do a quick leave, and maybe, no, we're not going to curl into that conversation for a double agent, just a window visit.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't looking like the worst time for a BB. Yeah, looks like we might be going for it now.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good BB. Like right now, the DA happens to be and a big split right here. Are we? It doesn't look like we are going to be credited with a low light for sure. And in fact, that might even keep us highlight. One of the things that might not have worked out super well with that is we were one of very few highlights, and so the split was more. It was easier to track the split because like we're one of like 2 highlights at that point. So did not get the credit for that, and may have even picked up some additional scrutiny from it.
Yeah, relevant information. There have not been. Oh my.
Okay, I kind of want to see what this shot is for. So
Yeah,
there
I
was
am
an
also
early
very
highlight.
curious.
So there was an early highlight on our seduction target early on, and I wasn't sure what that was actually for. It looks like we pick it up. We pick it up when we're. This might be an incidence of not remembering where the book came from. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. I mean, Ambassador hadn't left a fingerprint on it yet. So there's a few different things I think that could have been conflated there. It's potentially we just didn't remember our seduction target having a book at all, and we thought that it was a transfer. It's also potentially true that we didn't see that Ambassador didn't put the book back, so there wasn't actually a fingerprint there, even though that book was coming out from before. So ultimately, just a shot that was probably for a random reason that we can't really see. But definitely not the way you'd want to start a match versus a really strong sniper like Yeesh. So hopefully that's just nerves.
Looks like it might have also been incited by a quick talk upon entering, and the path is a little odd to get into convo. And then an instant talk looks like it confirmed Koopa's suspicions.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's jump into the next game. Yeesh does do rushes every once in a while, so they might just be trying to clamp down on a spy potentially looking like they're going to rush. So here's another game. We are going to be hoping that Koopa's able to pull it back with a rocker game on Ballroom, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And not too much happening in this opening set either, and no attempt at a bug right there. We could maybe force that chaos bug, but think better of it. So many lowlights, by the way, coming on random people that are starting at windows and whatnot, and adjustments on those lights, and eventually only comes away with one low light on general. So either Yeesh has a really strong specific play towards just everybody that they feel strongly about, or the way in which Koopa particularly plays that they wouldn't go
requesting
to.
a fingerprintable drink. Interesting. Or should be fingerprintable, I believe. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, starting with one of the first printable drinks. So we are definitely going to be committing down that path as we go on. Probably going to just be taking it a little bit slow then.
Yeah, I like that. It's not often that you see Amba taking a drink so early on, and it's early enough that, you know, even if the request wasn't quite where Toby would have naturally gone, that's not a thing a lot of snipers are going to be tracking. You've got lots of time to get rid of the drink. I like getting that early progress here.
Yeah, unfortunately, our seduction target is just barely not in ambassador space, so they're going to be sitting here for quite a while unless they just choose to leave. This briefcase is going to be tied up. We might just hang. Oh, double agent comes to us though. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on in this conversation. Then this is actually a great BB.
Yeah, that's quite a good BB, and it's also pushing out the Amba, of course, which gives us more access. Then we're taking that fingerprint immediately. Okay, very aggressive on the fingerprints.
Yeah, indeed. So, and we just put it right back down as Ambassador is taken up. Is Ambassador taken up? Yeah, Ambassador's taken
Yeah,
up.
because Ambassador was at books.
And so hopefully we'll just be able to. Oh, and our seduction target grabs a difficult potential fingerprint as well, and we don't have to worry about going to those bookcases later. We're kind of hoping that seduction target just rejoins us here as we wait them to land, but we still do need to do something else, and so I wouldn't mind.
ST gets a low light for that briefcase. That's interesting. Oh, possibly because the AI didn't talk to them while they were holding a briefcase in conversation, or something else about the briefcase that was liked.
Yeah, it could just be going for difficult, but that seems unlike them. Okay, quick talk and leave. Right now, it's hard to get a read on exactly what Yeesh is feeling because there's no highlights currently. I think Yeesh is reserving highlights for high suspicion rather than just scattering highlights around for partial inspects or anything like that. So it's hard to tell if that talk and immediate leave is going to really come into it. Okay, we're going to purloin here.
Okay, well, camera shake. We're not happy. Yeah, and that gets us shot.
Yeah, so I want to see if how. So we did have a little chain. So we had Duke. No, we didn't. We didn't really have a viable chain in there, unfortunately. So a little bit desperate, I think, at that point because White was certain death essentially at that point because the drink had just gotten taken, and also little did we know, even if there was a reject on the person before us, that was an SDA, so that would have also been tragic. So we were going to be relying on a chain coming out after that potentially, or if we got a green, it went over to our seduction target. We do a flirt with the seduction target, and maybe they don't see it in 10 seconds. I think that was going to be a bad spot for Koopa no matter what.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice to go for Purloin as the fourth mission instead of something like Inspects, go for the pure soft tell. So possibly having an idea that Yeesh might be on top of the soft tell finish and would shoot them for it.
Indeed. All right. Well, we'll see what happens in the next game. We're going to jump into Gallery. So similar mindset of what we have having to be a spy-driven, but still lots of options. We're going to be clamped down a little bit more in options as we go into the 5 of 8 maps later. But we will be starting with Yeesh as Duke on Gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it. So the fact that we've chosen Duke here, by the way, that's like gallery specific bug tech that I'm anticipating out of.
I'm excited to see if we can get one of those spicy bugs. For those who may not know, Duke and Kane are unique among characters in that their idol does not have their hands in front of them. It has in the case of Kane, his hands are at his sides, and in the case of Duke, his arms are behind him, which can make for some very interesting bugs on the sides of gallery that are harder to catch.
And especially because, okay, so we are not taking it right now. I was wondering if we were going to try to take something there, but I think Yeesh feeling it out potentially wants to even talk as ambassadors going by them to show that we did not go for a bug there. So it's still kind of setting that up. Whenever there's ambassador at blue bookcases, that usually sets alarms off in the sniper's mind to watch what happens after that, because almost certainly they're going to be passing by a bunch of people with potential walking bugs. But that might be a little too obvious for Yeesh, a little bit too. The sniper can be telegraphed too hard about what's going to be happening there. Did they smudge fully this fingerprint, or is there going to still be a fingerprint here? Oh yeah, there it is.
Yep, difficult print. Okay, so that's exciting. That's some progress in a game that's otherwise been a little bit slow. Now, obviously, you've got some time, but it's gallery, and the AIs can be quite cruel about cramping the amount of time you have available for things.
And Ambassador not quite close enough for a reverse bug. Yeesh also valuing Cowboy as an ambassador for being slower. Get a quick little flirt in and leave. We're now back in completion range with the green. Valuing Cowboy because they walk actually a slower walking animation is more advantageous on a map like on Gallery because it gives you more of a window to get the reverse bugs. And we are just going to do a nice real banana bread. As far as knocking out targets, it does actually kill quite a few. And I wasn't sure if we were going to be too nervous about low lighting the people in the back for a leave from the back conversation, but that was a decent banana bread that Koopa actually just took a lot of low lights for. And actually, now I'm a little bit more worried for Yeesh.
Yeah, only one highlight remaining in the party. Now, it is Kane, who, like we mentioned, can have a very dangerous bug on Gallery, and now we have Smallman highlight as well, another dangerous character on Gallery.
We are going to finish a fingerprint, so 2 fingerprints off blue bookcase. So it's this weird combination of suspicious but not suspicious, in that we are showing that we've just visited the same bookcase twice. We're not trying to complete a microfilm or anything like that. We probably just avoid green altogether. And we only have the one mission left, which almost certainly is going to be Yeesh fishing for a reverse bug or just a good bug attempt. Looks like we're following
seems
now.
Likely. Interesting. We're going into statues. I wonder if we're going to try a swap. Okay, yeah, we're going with a swap block here.
And it got raised up. If we there we go. Say if we don't shoot now, we're not going to have another chance to see that statue. And Yeesh, a little bit unfortunate with the immediate raise above the head, because even if we started with a statue in front of us and then a raise above the head, I don't know if Koopa would have been able to shoot in time, because Yeesh spammed that swap statue as soon as he got in. So potentially feeling a little bit behind there, taking a little just of a risk. That's more of a coin flipping play than I was expecting with Yeesh with that much time left. But I do respect it in the sense that if you are going to try the swap block, it's better to do it at like 45 seconds left than 15 seconds left, because it's just going to be so desperate.
Yeah.
Right, well, great shot by Koopa, though.
Yeah, excellent shot.
All right, let's jump into this game. Also, I wish I had actually just take a second to look at whether or not there was someone there before, because sometimes you just go to a statue after somebody and you can do a swap block for a final mission, and then they narrow it to 2 and just don't shoot in time. But no such thing on there.
I did not notice either if we were trying to frame anyone, but if it was, Koopa didn't bite.
I think I also just now noticed we're at 4 minutes on this. I think that's plus 15 seconds from at least 15 seconds from previous versions of Gallery. So I'm also happy to see that. So we have a lot more time, or not a lot more time, a little bit more flexibility to set more stuff up. All right.
I believe that that's been that was the setup in SEL 6, and I believe it has been fairly consistent since then. Not a lot of there have been venues that have been experimented with lately, but Gallery not one of them.
Indeed. All right. Well, we'll be stepping in for another character with a pretty good reverse bug animation. Not quite as specifically strong as Duke, but a lot of flexibility. And we'll be stepping in as Koopa as Bling Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And maybe we'll try for a chaos. Nah, that's for the best because Ambassador was about to burn us on that one, anyways. A little bit of a curl back, and but
Yeah, looks like we're
chaos.
chasing the seduction target. We want to get things started as soon as possible so we don't lose too much time to. Oh, wow. And very aggressive flirt and leave as well.
Indeed, and Koopa just really willing to bet that Yeesh is doing a full zoom in on that one, barely keeping the heads of the party in front in there, but I imagine just not really looking at that at all.
Yeah, cheese flirt in the front of gallery, I think, is quite strong because it's reducing the amount of time you have to spend on the flirt and giving you a lot more time to look for opportunities elsewhere that you're going to need on a map like gallery.
It's the green, so flirt from anywhere will finish. Lots of flexibility later on. The back conversation looks pretty juicy for banana bread. A few people are moving around though, and unbeknownst to us, SDA is out, so it'd be putting us to a pretty
Wheels
small
gets a
pool.
highlight probably for Bug, if I had to guess, since he was standing basically in or sitting basically inside the ambassador there.
Indeed. Okay, so and we are going to a fingerprintless briefcase or bookcase. Um, and so I'm curious if we're actually going to try to do something with this later. We actually have pretty good cover if we want to try an animation, but looks like nope, we're just be taking it out, potentially dumping it in later. So let's see. If we right now we have seduce almost wrapped up, contact. We could do a contact and bounce out. Here we go. White test, so probably no total ditch. Nope, just a simple stay. Bunch of lowlights come off, unfortunately, including wheels. All right, so
Is that were those a bunch of lowlights taken on the front conversation for not having a real DA in?
yes.
That could be very powerful here then, because that's cut down the party substantially here.
Yes, indeed. And there's doesn't really look like there's anybody that's grabbed Yeesh's attention. Ooh, are we going to be doing an action test on the front? I would not mind this, although Yeesh is intentionally zooming out a little bit every once in a while. No, we're not even reading this book out here. We're not doing for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting play, but if you're going to do that, I think you need to take the time ad as well because it's a very slow play. Because it means you have to go to Green Books and find a time to transfer there as well. Okay, no, we're going for the direct transfer here.
Indeed, and there's no instant shot on it, and I do think that with 3 missions, with a contact out of the way, us having real, if Yeesh had really caught on this, I don't think we'd be testing our luck and holding a shot until we've held a mission count. So I do believe we got off that clean, but we still have one more thing to do. Are we just going to go for
Probably
here?
Purloin, if I had to guess. Okay, nope, simple reject. So
good.
Perhaps a bug then.
Yeah, I'd actually really prefer. I was actually worried a bit because I don't want Koopa to also get in the habit of just if when in trouble just purling every time because Yeesh will definitely pick up on that. So I'd love for him to try this. This bug though. There's basically no cover, and we do seem to be staring it down though. Oh! Here's a great chance though. Oh, it's seen. That actually okay. So I thought he was gonna be setting up on the pad for that. But honestly, I can't blame Koopa for that. It is gonna be a thing where if Yeesh is looking directly at it, you can see it. But at that point in the game, Koopa really had to hope that the party wasn't so narrowed down, and that maybe you should have to be staring at someone at statues. That said, there actually wasn't anybody at statues. So
yeah, if you knew what path the ambassador was going to take, I think you could have maybe done the bug a little bit later and it might have had more cover from the ambassador himself. But if you didn't know that the ambassador was going to curl around you like that, you probably would have just missed the bug and then you're just going to time out. So, kind of maybe your best shot at getting a completion at all on this map.
Agreed. And I do think that it might have been a little bit easier for Koopa to pull off if it was a slower ambassador. So I think Tex actually was going to work better for that kind of bug. Because you're totally right, where the path that ambassador took was actually almost ideal. It's just that the timing window, Yeesh was going to be able to see one edge of it if Taft doesn't straighten out. And basically, Yeesh got to see 2 ends of it because he started just slightly early enough that the beginning of the bug animation was visible, and then still after Ambassador curled around, the edge of the kind of snapback was just a little bit visible. That said, it was still a good bug, but the party was narrowed down and there was nothing else happening on the map.
Yeah, little bit hard to say if it's like unfortunate or just like, perhaps a problem with pacing, a difficulty with pacing that made it harder to find an opportunity for a fourth mission elsewhere. But yeah, and good catch by Yeesh.
All right. Well, let's step into any 4 of 7 courtyard, and we will have Yeesh as Taft. Very interesting choice there. Taft on courtyard in particular is kind of a bug on the inside path around the rim kind of character. So I'm curious if he actually tries to push that. So we'll see how that goes. And still has Cowboy as Ambassador. It's funny. I was actually looking at the Ambassador stats. I should probably start the game before talking about this, but the Ambassador stats for different tournaments, and the Spy Party Invitational shot up way up for Tex. The only time that Tex has ever overtaken Taft was in that one, and that's basically because Yeesh was
fascinating. Oh yeah, I guess yeah, that would do it. But yeah, that is interesting that there's a discrepancy in that small pool of players as opposed to the overall competitive meta.
Indeed. All right. Well, let's see how they handle Courtyard. Courtyard is one where you gotta basically take a big risk, and so we'll see if it pays out. Anyways, we will be starting as Yeesh as Taft in 3, 2, 1, playing it. All right, so we're going to be cramming up to our seduction target here. One of the nice things about conversation circles on Courtyard is they're generally pretty small on the ones in front of statues, and so there's no real suspicious spacing where we're actually even closer to our non-seduction target than our seduction target. Take a drink as an excuse to leave, and peace out to the other side. Innocent conversation coming up, and so far it seems like when Yeesh gets a green flirt to start, Yeesh often tries to rush down seduction target, see what happens, because on a map like Courtyard, if you get a quick 2 flirt, you can contact, and then you have a lot of options as far as chaining something for a rush finish. So knowing whether or not you're going to have the seduction target done really early lets you know if you're going to have a viable total rush going on. And Double Agent's also this conversation.
Yeah, this is a decent time for contact. Although it might be hard to tell because you can't exactly see the entire venue at once, of course, on Courtyard.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I guess we already took a drink, but we might finish this drink and call over Toby, contact. Oh, Double Agent does leave, though. I don't think it's going to be too bad to chase Double Agent. Double Agent's bouncing around a little bit over by Ambassador. We step over to window. Lasers tends to be hovering on either side, so we might be going for a time ad here. We are indeed. Let's see if Koopa picks up on it. There is a highlight also at the windows at the same time, as well as Smallman. So if we miss this time ad late, and we only catch those 2, there's going to be a ton of suspicion on them, and it could lead to a wrong shot. We are sipping as the Ambassador's walking by, so no bug right there. Toby's next to us, so we're probably not going to go for a bug. We're probably just going to let Ambassador leave. And yeah, no bugs there.
Yeah, with such a strong inherent concentration of attention, it would be a very dangerous time to attempt a bug. And given that we've still got time, I think Yeesh is more willing to see how the party shakes out and see what other opportunities he can make elsewhere.
I'd love to know if Ambassador comes right back up to us. I don't know if we're going to be able to resist this time. Ooh. We don't seem to be... Up there it is, just a standing bug.
And the end of bread.
Oh, it doesn't take. Oh, that's so tragic.
Yeah, we don't. It does not take, and it was not seen. So Yeesh is going to be real sad about that because he would have gotten. Ambassador keeps trying to come into that exact spot again. Ambassador started there, left, came back to that exact same spot. Was intending to go back to that spot.
Are we going to swap here? Well, okay, we're on screen now. Up. We tried that. We tried to do a sneaky swap, but it's caught.
Indeed, just unfortunate timing there. So let's see. Was anybody at that statue? There was. Oh no, there wasn't. Jackson was at the other statue.
No, I don't think this was so much a frame swap as a hey, I see where the laser is. If I go around this way, I can sneak in and get a swap and run away before the sniper sees me. But unfortunately, Koopa is being diligent with his laser and comes over and spots us at the swap statue.
Yeah, so unfortunate on the bug not taking there. We still had one more thing we were gonna have to do, but I think the plan was probably to do a swap. The timing on that actually, I'm a little bit concerned about because Irish was just taking a drink when we were doing this, and I think that Koopa wasn't rotating to see us; they're rotating to see the tray, and then just happened to see us as we were coming around, and the slam back really seals it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, well, let's head on to the next game. A little bit more breathing room for Koopa, who really would love to just tie it up right here, and we'll see if that's possible. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. All right, we're chasing Ambassador, but not
Yeah.
bugging.
Oh, yep. We get the bug and we get shot. Okay, well.
Let's take a look at that. So the bug started off where we didn't take the bug, we weren't taking the bug, we weren't taking the bug. It actually wasn't that bad if we didn't
if
get
the
ahead
ambassador hadn't taken that path. If the ambassador hadn't stopped in convo and had kept walking with us, it would have been an excellent bug. But, our hand just emerges from the ambassador.
Yeah, unfortunate there. I would have been curious to see how that game plays out because some snipers, if they see a double walking bug at any point in the game that's truly invisible, that player, that character just gets so much scrutiny that if that happens at the beginning of the game on courtyard, that might have been tough. But regardless, anything would have been better than Ambassador stopping there and leaving us for dead. So unfortunate quick loss there. And we will be moving on to the next map, which will be even harder to win a spy. So we're just heading into the library. And we will have Yeesh once again as a twin. Yeesh loves playing twins, but this time bullying twin. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I'm not actually even giving away tech there. Yeesh is pretty vocal about their love of twins, even has it as their PFP. Oh, and we're doing a full hide.
Pillar play. Okay, not for long, though. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if we were just kind of fishing to see if we liked our position. Because sometimes it's hard, it's hard to perfect where you're at on the pillar. So maybe he just didn't like the spot that he's in, and instead of being like trying to fidget around there, he's like, well, even if I'm seen, maybe it's like an AI thing, and I'll just kind of brush it off and bounce around a little bit and walk out. And then we're gonna hit a white time ad, kind of a classic opener for a library, just because spies often just feel so far behind that they have to do something. It doesn't seem like anybody's getting credit for it, so no worse for wear.
Yeah, looked like we were maybe trying to chase down our seduction target there, but they go to statues, and Yeesh is not willing to go to center statues to get a close flirt with them at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like we're just highlighting for statues so far. I believe that Yeesh. We yanked this book out. Did we see anything? Because basically, from the point at which Koopa would have been here. Oh, but that arm. Oh, but it wasn't seen. We just are turning away.
Oh no! I think it was seen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
I think you're right about that. That we go to the blind side of the map and start safetying off. We don't. Mm-hmm. We have not subtly highlight us yet. Oh,
yeah, we keep missing.
Try.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Koopa is all over Yeesh at the moment, but I'm intrigued to see how this plays out. How long Koopa will let this go on?
There it is. We got the spy. Yeah. So I think you were 100% accurate on what was going on there. We see enough of the bug that we're pretty sure, but like it's a huge competitive scenario.
Yeah.
There it is.
Shot for instant leave from conversation, which is not allowed by etiquette. And since the bug was seen, and possibly also the quick book take as well, that's enough for Koopa to shoot.
And it's interesting. It's funny that that bug, I'm guessing from Koopa's perspective, probably thought that book took, but actually, as Koopa was safetying off on the other side of the map, we get a real bug. because we just step in closer and get an NCC bug, which is
That's
actually quite
really
nice.
that's very funny, but yeah, as you know, it does not eventually change the outcome of the map in the of the game. In that, the sniper knows who the spy is and is just waiting to shoot.
Yeah, no reason to rush it. It's you know they're not done with 5 missions. You can wait to have a cleaner shot on them because you don't want to miss the shot. And honestly, sometimes it's worthwhile, especially in sets like this, to see what your opponent would do. Like, what are they going to do in the rest of the game? You can get some valuable intel. So yeah, unfortunate bug attempt on that one. I would have been really interested to know if the book takeout from Yellow was seen, but we will never know as we step into. So we are stepping into general for Koopa. Obviously, the two things that really stand out here is not only bug, which is usually the thing that stands out, but swap block opportunities. And we will see if that comes into play starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Not Queen as seduction target, though. Thank God.
Yes, very sad, very sad. But yeah, definitely, on a venue where you have to get 5 missions, having, yup, and there's the bug. There's that bug we were talking about, and there's the shot also.
No such hovering and watching from Yeesh. Just a quick bug, and I don't really blame the timing for the bug. I'm Let's see.
Yeah, the angle is slightly off. They turn away too soon and show the hand to the sniper.
Yeah, if we'd probably have to curl into like blue bookcases or something like that to continue it on, because we do bounce off just like you're saying and show our hand literally. And
It's library. You have to do 5 missions. Very often that's going to involve bug, and sometimes you bug and you get shot, and that's just how library goes.
exactly, like I think we're so much more sad about the courtyard bug shot than that one. So that's far much more of the missed opportunity. But we will have another uphill spy game as we step into veranda. Who we got? We got Yeesh as Teal. Always controversial. Jumping in, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I also anticipate some sort of aggression coming out from Yeesh on this one. We might. No, we're not going to go for the instant bug. Honestly, so for even though these two any 5 of 8 maps, we are going to go for an early time ad again, really seeming to value
Ooh,
those.
the double time ad. Okay.
I'm surprised we might not even gone for a triple at that point, but at that point, that's just too much time. It's actually bad. And we do step over to the briefcase. Good way to get out of the situation. Yeah, so I mean, the thing with Veranda is Veranda time ads they're nice, of course, but they're not as valuable as time ads in other maps unless they make the sniper really nervous. You still have such a bottleneck on missions that you have to accomplish. Really, what Veranda does is it's going to get more people with partial and full inspect progress, and it's going to give you a lot more time for Ambassador to be grazing up versus people. I would say very few snipers really track Veranda flirts because there's just so many conversations that flow in between. It's really messy to try. So that's probably not going to be too much of a difference. But and of course, fingerprints. Those are just more fingerprints on the map.
Pretty slow game so far. We have half flirt and half fingerprint and no other progress. Doesn't look like we're aiming for a contact right now either. But hopefully we get something else soon. Even with the time ads, you do need to make a lot of mission progress on Veranda because you can't really frame an AI or hope that an AI gets shot so much.
We request a drink, but we just take it innocently. There might have been a chain. Oh,
Yeah,
nope, nope.
yeah,
There's a
we were
fingerprint
hoping
on
for
it.
a print. Yeah, because the ambassador had a drink, and maybe we in fact knew how many drinks had been taken, but I think we were just hoping for that printable. Difficult prints on drinks are very, very hard to track, especially with the tray. So I like that early fingerprint completion here.
Yeah, indeed, and especially when you have this much time, you can really like track those down. Because even if Yeesh missed that difficult fingerprint, we have time to kind of fish for difficult fingerprints like that. But now here we're sitting with we're gonna go finish Seduce and Fingerprint, but then we still have the real test coming up. We're doing some extreme bouncing, hoping for a low light. That's another play that spies can often be tempted into on maps where they're not favored. Is they'll go for lots of time ads, they'll go for banana splits, and they'll go for real big attempts at getting pathing low lights, but no such luck for Yeesh.
Yeah, I don't know that Koopa is necessarily someone who's going to reward that sort of behavior here. So hopefully we can at least get this flirt here.
Kind of a weird spot, and Yeesh is actually
Oh,
shaking their camera a little bit. And
Caster's curse as the ST bails on us. And yeah, that conversation is definitely a bit of a trap. It is so much smaller than any other conversation elsewhere that you will often get stuck trying to get into it.
also, I really don't think Yeesh has to force themselves. If Yeesh puts themselves on the inner boundary of that small conversation circle, you had a 51%. You didn't actually need to join on this narrow side, and we flinched a little bit on our way in. Don't seem to have gotten anything for it. Interesting low light on Duke there. Really curious what that's about. It's really cool to see lowlights getting taken so far correct on a map where just
Banana bread.
players are usually really hesitant to do so. When we do go for the bug after the banana bread,
That's a really good BB too. Only a few people out for that. That's quite good for Veranda, and we get the bug out of it. So now the question is, what's that fifth mission? Do we go for inspect? Do we go for a purloin? Do we go for a relatively early swap, some kind of microfilm play?
Yeesh will probably swap. Oh no! Well, actually, no. I lied. Looks like we're just going for the inspect. We do have a lot of time left, but running up to this statue feels really suspicious. But counterintuitively, if you go for that suspicious spot, there is no swap. We do a nice little briefcase redirect there as it's taken up by I think that was General. And we are going to go statue to statue,
Yeah.
though. Technically, there's a briefcase redirect in here, so it's not as apparent as it normally would be.
Well,
It
we're not
really
a
seems like
pilot, and I don't think we're credited for bug or fingerprints or maybe even the first inspect. So yeah, it looks like Yeesh is going to get away with this one.
yeah, pretty clean game from Yeesh to be and dances a little bit over there. Pretty clean on that one. So uses the big moments obviously are the two early fingerprints, the after the time ad, and then a distracting contact bug, and clinical. Great job for Yeesh. Didn't get tempted into throwing it away on a swap like I might have. Really used the extra time and comes away with a win on a tough map. And
Yeah, because if you note the ending time, if we had not done one time ad, we would have been finishing at 0-0. And if with two time ads, yeah. So the time ads definitely coming into play with getting the prints, getting that bug, getting the really good contact, and just a lovely little spy game.
Indeed. All right. Well, sometimes some of the most fun veranda games are when a spy feels like they're behind and they just like go all out. I do think that snipers that are willing to be patient and just like it's hard to rush veranda. So I don't know how effective that will be, but I kind of hope to see it. What I really love to see is just an explosive game coming out here. But what's probably the best is a clean one. But who knows? We'll see what Koopa actually decides to do. Starting in 3, 2, 1, laying it.
Yeah, sort of, not exactly the comfiest spot to be in for Koopa, needing to win a spy game on Veranda to stay in the match. It's doable. I mean, we just saw a spy win, but it's definitely a hard one to feel that you have to.
Yeah. No time ad from us on this one. We're a little bit frustrated. We weren't able to get that early seduction target done, and we're kind of just like, "What? Oh my god!"
We, okay.
All right, straight up mistake. That's just a mistake. Like obviously, it's a mistake in that it's a civ shot, but I think Yeast trying to make a statement shot at that point, like just trying to project into future games. Yeah,
I think it must be a phantom swap because Pearls starts at statues. So it must be that the statue was mismemorized, and Yeesh thought that there was an instant swap from pearls.
Yeah, and Yeesh, from my perspective, when I'm looking at this game, Yeesh never actually got to confirm that statue. It does, like, don't get me wrong. If you look at the beginning, White Dress's redirect into that corner statue looks like a spy trying to go in there and swap right away. It's just the thing about it is I really liked how Koopa responded in a similar situation where Koopa felt like they were sure they saw something, but had the humility to be like, I could be wrong about this, and just waits for just more confirming evidence. Because Veranda, man, like they're gonna go back to another set of statues, wait for a banana bread, they might get knocked out. Uh, anyway, so I think we wanted to just like put the fear yeesh in Koopa, but instead it gives us a breath of air. So
Yeah, yeah, because the venues that are left are going to be a lot more possible to sweep. Not easy by any means, because Yeesh has proven that he's a very strong player, but a little more easier to get away with than a spy win on Veranda.
indeed. All right. Well, I imagine that Yeesh probably still doesn't feel too bad having the lead still, but really had the chance just to wrap it up right then. But we will be stepping into Yeesh on Aquarium, especially after a wrong shot like that. I imagine that we're going to see something truly aggressive here from Yeesh to kind of potentially compensate, but who knows? I personally hope for something super aggressive and fun, but we'll see if Yeesh actually obliges. Starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Smallman, a seduction target, might be trying to do something fun there, but Yeesh does like controlled randomization of his casts normally, especially for spies. So tries not fall in any particular patterns around having like Smallman be a seduction target every time, but seems to value it on Aquarium.
Interesting thing about that flirt, we were quite aggressively positioned into the center of the convo, which can be quite suspicious if your sniper is watching for it, but also it helped us get that 50% flirt without being, the closest person in convo to Smallman. So possibly trying to, get that close flirt, but without, and then not sticking around too long to get suspicious for it.
I think Yeesh was contemplating picking up that briefcase and putting it right back down because they looked at Laser for a little bit and seemed like, can I just steal this fingerprint? But decides against it. I absolutely 100% agree with what you were saying with the flirt, especially when there's kind of the half full conversation. It's hard to tell if a spy has nudged themselves into the center of the conversation, flirts, and then gets away before somebody else comes in behind them and makes it really obvious. Banana bread comes off here. We get a decent amount of low lights. We could low light a couple more, think better of it, and we go in just for the bug
Ooh,
behind shark.
yeah. Excellent. Beautiful shark bug. And oh, we're way out of the way too. By the time the shark clears, we are over in the time pad, being like, oh, look at us. We couldn't possibly have gone anywhere near the ambassador. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, Koopa went all in on trying to watch if anybody's feet crossed the path of the ambassador, but Yeesh was already gone at that point. If Yeesh got away with that 100%, I think we are done for because we're just going to collect another fingerprint.
Yeah, just one more fingerprint. And yeah, that's a lovely, aggressive spy game by Yeesh. Now, it's always possible that Yeesh will do something wrong and Koopa will shoot, but I think that Yeesh has very likely got this one.
Indeed, indeed. I was curious if we were going to jam ourselves in next to Ambassador to force them out, but that might be a little greedy given that we can wait. We can
Yeah,
wait a
we've
full
we've
minute.
got plenty of time to pick up one more print. We don't need to get credited for the bug that we got completely clean.
And uses the foot tech incorrectly. I do not blame Koopa for this shot. Let's see, was I hope that Wheels had actually had enough threat on it. So let's see. We Wheels is in that conversation forever. Picked up one set of statues. Did have inspects done. That's unfortunate. That's straight up unfortunate. Oh my god. Yeah. I 100% justifiable shot. We could not see the bug. They crossed in a super suspicious way. They were done with inspects. Yep,
I'm
I don't
curious
blame
if
him.
Wheels had. Oh, that's so tragic. Wheels was one of the people that could have been taken as a low light from that BB, but wasn't. Wheels was out for BB, and maybe it could have looked like a split, but that's a bit of a tragic shot there.
Yeah, too bad. So yeah, just barely out of conversation during the BB. So yeah, it's a little bit tough to see the timing of it if it was a split or not. And in some ways, that might even make it look more suspicious because he went right to Windows after that and then went to statues as if we were trying to feel out a low light, you know. So
Yeah, very true. So, yeah. Yep.
all right, well, that I believe is the end of the set. Unfortunate there that Koopa took a 100% reasonable shot. Uh, at least it was not a shot for a shark walk setup. So it was in the bounds of normal gameplay, and Wheels was out of conversation. So there was a tiny amount of space there where Koopa wouldn't be able to pull that back. But given that we missed that one little detail, reasonable shot, and Yeesh is able to come away with it. But I don't think that in the Yeesh had a solid victory here, but I wouldn't call this like a stomp. There was definitely some back and forth in this, and Yeesh was about to win on that fingerprint, but I think Koopa. Hopefully, Koopa does not feel like they did not show up well versus Yeesh here because I actually really liked a lot of their games and had some nice clean wins and some unfortunate luck, but Yeesh coming away to go into a pretty cool match though in the future. Gore versus Yeesh.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
that's definitely going to be one to watch for. I am excited to see what happens in that one.
Especially since Yeesh, if Yeesh has time, Legorov just hope that Yeesh doesn't have time because if Yeesh has the space to go full prep, he's pretty scary. I mean, obviously he's just scary as a player in general, but one of the most lopsided finals I've ever seen was Yeesh going full prep on the opponent Dowsy, who was such a hot streak at the time, and just crushed because of the prep that they did, crushed because of feeling on fire, and sometimes that's just what happens to Yeesh. But yeah, that'll be fun to watch. Congrats to both players. Condolences to Koopa. Koopa, hopefully we'll see in Penguin Pool. I don't know when Penguin Pool stops accepting people. Is there a point at which they
It's
do?
it does. I believe it's. I don't remember exactly when it is, but it's later on. It's definitely, Koopa is certainly eligible for Penguin Pool if he chooses to participate in it. And, Penguin Pool is definitely an excellent event. I'm very glad that it exists.
Yes, indeed. So hopefully, it seems like in chat we might be getting some Penguin Pool action from Koopa. So would love to see that because you don't want your last thing in this competitive thing to be this totally legitimate wrong shot. You want it to be an illegitimate wrong shot in Penguin Pool. So go do us proud. And we'll be stepping into the next match coming up here. But that was pretty fun already.
Yeah, definitely an excellent match and fun to watch.